So let's get started here. We got 26 people on, and so that's a good quorum. All right, welcome everybody for October Drake's Lounge 2025. Right now, still working on getting the Western Conference scheduled. No guarantees yet. We hit a snag. So far, Ken's out with family. Sort of taken over the Western Conference planning. So we're going to see if we can get this rebooted and back on track. So right now it appears March for Owens Valley is the plan, and we're sticking to it until I hear. I've got emails out to the guys down at Owens Valley, and they're pretty good at this. So we'll get that working. Let's see.
Rich,
okay, so that's all.
I guess as to what week in March that would be.
Well, I think I told them that the main criteria is that we need to be there when the airport's open. And remember, last time there was a period where the airport was going to be closed. It closes for the season or something, and so I don't know what days those are yet. So no, I don't have a week yet even when the Owens Valley is going to be. That's where I'm trying to catch up from where Ken was. I don't think he had that nailed down yet. Okay, let's see. Well, let's go to Adrian first, because Adrian, you just had a tour of the Allen array. I don't know if you want to give a brief overview of your tour. Adrian?
Sorry, I was muted there.
That's okay.
I had some pictures that I was putting up there from a visit that I made up to the Hat Creek Radio Observatory a couple of years back, and so that's a couple of pictures that I had. So as I was explaining earlier, that's the feed for the set of antennas that they have there. I'm sure you've seen maybe groups of here's one kind of a more scenic view of some of the antennas they have at Hat Creek at the SETI Allen array, and so those are a series of antennas that they have there. I think they have something like I think it's close to 40 or something like that, and they can synchronize those for observations. One of their main goals is to possibly detect any intelligent radio signals that might be emitted from other civilizations out in space. And so the organization that sort of runs that SETI, or the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, which is out here in California also, normally runs the place. But they do other observations for radio astronomy and so forth. And I think they even contract out some of those antennas for the military for comms or at least to reception for some of their satellite networks. So anyway, that's just some of the pictures that I had on there, and it's a very beautiful place to visit. Interesting, but so that's kind of a mini tour of that. And here's one of the antennas that I'm standing in front of for relative size. I'm not too tall, but it's still a big antenna. Lovely to have something like that in your backyard if the neighbors didn't complain. But anyway, so that's about it. I don't have anything else to report as far as radio astronomy. I'm working on a number of projects, but no data as of yet.
Now, that big antenna is strange, but that's really just a tent over the feed, which is much smaller, and that allows it to just keep the sun off it mostly.
Yeah, those antennas are cryogenically cooled. The amplifiers on them are cryo-cooled at the receiving end of that spiky antenna that they use. So yeah, it keeps the weather and the sun off of the electronics, and of course the dish is just a reflector, so it doesn't require any special precautions. But it can be maneuvered. You can see all the steering components for for the mount there at the upper left-hand side of the picture. But yeah, it's a really nice observatory that's still functioning even with a lot of the budget cuts. But it's really interesting, the project. If ever a real intelligent signal is come across by their system, they're from aliens, not necessarily little green men. They might look like amoebas or something with long tentacles pointing dishes up at us. Anyway, that's all I've got. Moving on to somebody with some real data out there.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Wolfgang.
Well, there's actually not too much new from my side. We're still waiting for some more FRBs showing up. At the moment, all the repeaters that we have been observing are more or less silent at the moment. And the main things that we're dealing with at the moment is we are doing some upgrades on our software. We started with our smallest, the 1.2 meter, where we completely sort of upgrading the software to the latest operating environment. And we're moving from Python 2 to Python 3 there, which turns out to be a little bit more complex than I had hoped. And yeah, other than that, there's not really too much. There's maybe one thing worth mentioning. We are setting up or trying to set up a polarimeter for sun observations. The idea behind that is if we have strong flares, the question is, are those polarized or not? And we're setting up, or we are in the process of setting up a little experiment to see that. Probably run for quite a while, and so we see what will happen. I guess that's pretty much all from my side.
Okay. Any questions for Wolfgang? Okay. Thanks. Rob Lucas, Australia.
Good morning, everybody. I was hoping to have a report to present today, but I started analyzing the 3 months of scans that I've done, and it's taking longer to analyze 3 months of scans than what I thought it was going to take. I thought I'd be able to say, oh, this is what I've got and this is what it means, and I can, what I've at is running data, plunkety plunk for each day, and haven't taken and put the scans together to make anything. It looks interesting to begin with, but nothing really to present on that today. I've done a couple outreaches, drag a telescope out in the middle of the night and show people the sky. And, also went out to the observatory, and it's functional now, but, waiting to make it all work together. The problem with the observatory is the operator, me. Yeah. Everything's in place now, trying to make it all work together. It all works together, but not me. Yeah, it's taken longer than I thought. And and to make a break, next week I'll be in San Francisco, and I'll be there till December, checking on a lot of projects there. So for me, that's basically it for now.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Dmitri.
Hello, all. Thanks for it. I have today some presentations. Just a moment. In August, I already told about OHIR stars observations, hunting for main lines from the star. I will try to get short. stars in the pulsating. The pulsating, most of them are evaluating on asymptotic giant branch of Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. You can see this diagram. The star's temperature, this x, and this luminosity. From every star can evaluate in some point of this diagram. Hydroxyl is usually is a tracer for from the star envelope. They usually have two peak spectra in 1612 megahertz line, but main lines 1665, 67 megahertz usually weak, and much depends on mass loss rate, specific mass loss rate, individual from every such star. Observations instrument is 20 meters. In green band, you can see it's on the photo. And I already talked about observations of Canis Majoris, red supergiant. It has very dense dust and gas envelope with density indicator about 10 in minus 10 in natural units, and high luminosity. Two peak spectra for Canis Majoris, and several lines in main spectrum 60-67 megahertz and 60-65 megahertz. Observation from May of this year. Next, IRS star 17 411 minus 3154. Two peak spectrum in 1612 megahertz, and almost the same in shape spectrum in 60-67 megahertz. Interesting observations. This is not too often that when 60-67 megahertz spectrum repeats in shape the 1612 megahertz spectrum. Recent observations I will talk about today. This is IRS 1704 minus 4190. 90. This is also OHIR star and AGB in AGB evolution stage. Initial mass about for solar masses. Mass loss rate is not well made. Density indicator for envelope, and maybe more than for Canis Majoris, red supergiant. Historically, it has 1612 megahertz double peak spectra with peak about 120 Jansky, and 60-67 megahertz spectra maximum about 9 Jansky in peak. This is spectra from work about 35 years ago. This work 30 years ago. This work observations about 35 years ago. My recent observations give well the expected double peak spectra with almost the same peak of 120 Jansky, but I don't see even a trace of 67 megahertz emission, but my tuning of receiver is was with real high sensitivity, minimal detectable peak flux density about 3 Jansky, 400 seconds of integrations with reduced number of channels. But I have not detected even any trace of 67 megahertz spectra from the star. It can tell about variability of the star, which may not well seen in 12 megahertz, but this line 67 megahertz is more sensitive for variability because it depends on how collisional process are effective in the molecular envelope, and sometimes it can be seen without, and sometimes it can be not seen. This is all for now. If some questions, I will be glad.
All right. Good stuff. And Dimitri's got two observations in the current journal. And by the way, I'm going to trying to figure out. Go ahead. Okay.
These observations for I told you today. This is as observation will be as observation report in the journal I have sent to you. Second observations about a second observation report about the moon eclipse I observed in 43 gigahertz.
Okay. All right. Any more questions for Dmitri? And by the way, Dmitri, we're trying to impress Emma, who's the new high school student who's joined our group. Emma, Dimitri's in Moscow right now. So just to let you know that we're pretty worldwide here. So
wow. Nice to meet you, Dimitri. Hi.
All
right.
Hi.
Okay, so she's our new world ambassador here. Okay, Eduard. And by the way, tell your country when you talk, because I want Emma to be impressed with us.
All right. I'm Eduard. I'm from the Netherlands. So I'm also on the other side of the pond. So not too much to show today, except one thing. So I've been continuing to do drift scans at 1400 megahertz, just doing some continuum observations of some classical radio sources like Cassiopeia A and Taurus A and Westerau 3. So last weekend I got some decent detections of Taurus A. So maybe I can share my screen and show you the picture. All right, can you see this? Okay, well, it's pretty simple. So this is just continuum So what I'm doing is I just running IF average as usual, and I let it save a spectrum every minute overnight, while the dish is pointed at the declination of an interesting source, in this case Taurus A. And I'm also recording away from the hydrogen line, so a little bit away from the hydrogen line at 1400 megahertz. So I'm really looking here for the continuum signal, just basically the broadband radio noise. And then when the drift scan is done, I have a little script that I use to process all these spectra. So it's pretty simple. I just take the average of all the spectral channels between 1397 and 1401 megahertz. And then I plot this against the right ascension, essentially. So you can see here that there's a nice peak at the right ascension of Taurus A. So that's a pretty good detection. And I managed to repeat this the second night. So you can see it twice here. And interestingly, there's also a slight bump after the transit of Taurus A. And it matches up with another radio source, IC 443. So maybe that one is detected as well. So this is a weaker source. So anyway, that's all I have for this week. But I still thought it was kind of fun. Any questions?
Yes, one. What kind of equipment are you using, Eduard?
I'm using a 3-meter dish. I'm using a 3-meter dish, and then I'm using an L-band LNA, which is a G8 FEK unit. So
Okay.
And then there's a filter after that, and so then another amplifier, and then it goes into an AirSpy Mini SDR.
And where's the dish located?
In my backyard in here in the Netherlands.
Okay. Thank you.
By the way, Harm, are you from Cameras?
Yes, I am.
Ah, hello. Yeah, I recognize the dish. So
yeah, I suppose so.
Then we are probably in the same country. So I'm located in the vicinity of Tiel, if you know that place.
Yeah.
So
I know. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, good. Let's. Is it Harm? Is that what I'm reading?
Yes, but I'm harmless mostly.
Yeah, that's what they all say. So the so what's your so why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are and what kind of system you got, if you have one. And
yeah, I'm a volunteer at the Cameras Organization Foundation, which operates the Dwingelo Radio Telescope in the Netherlands, which is the, as far as we know, the oldest telescope still functioning. It's just 6 months older than the Stockert telescope from Wolfgang. We're mostly observing at the 70 centimeter band and the 21 centimeter band, L band. By the way, this dish was used in the late 1950s to map out the structure of our own Milky Way for the first time. In fact, that's the reason why it was built. I haven't prepared anything for this meeting. I'll do that for the next one. I'll tell you some more about this. And indeed, Eduard and I are in the same country. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, Harm, you have a website?
Yes. www.cameras with a CAMRAS.nl. Unfortunately, it's mostly in Dutch, but some pages are also in English.
The main thing I'm interested in is what you've had to do over the years to maintain the antenna. Because most people I think most people just let them go and they fall apart, and obviously you haven't.
Yes. Yeah? Well, let's see. The telescope was put out of action in 1999, I think, because they feared there was a millennium problem in the software. So they did not dare to turn it on again on January 1st, 2000. After that, it was happily rusting away. There were plans made to restore it, but there were also plans made to demolish it. But luckily, we then were saved by the Chinese because they were dumping steel on the world market, and that made the price of old iron so low that it would cost a lot of money to demolish the telescope. So they let it rust away. Then it became a national heritage monument in 2009, and then we got sufficient money, about 1.2 million euros, to restore the telescope. And that was done in 2012 until 2013. And then it was put back into operation, or we call it second light for this telescope. That was done by Joseph Taylor, who you might know. He's a Nobel Prize winner sometime somewhere in the 90s. And he put the telescope in operation again in April 2014. And we have about 100 volunteers in the foundation. And there's a very active group on Monday maintaining the telescope, between 10 and 15 people. So that's how we keep it. I should also mention that the telescope is still owned by Astron, the Dutch Institute for the Netherlands Institute for Radio Astronomy. And because they own the telescope, they also help maintain it. So a lot of technical support we get from Astron. And that's the way we keep it in good shape. Does that answer your question, Wendy?
Yes, thank you.
Maybe it's worth mentioning, if you look at the dates, it almost is identical to what happened with the Astronomy Stockard. So our dish was taken out of operation in 1995 and was then started refurbishing from 2005 onwards, and it has had its second light in 2011. So all that is very, very similar. And of course, because of the similarity, there are many things that we jointly discuss and experiments that we do together. Probably the most prominent example of our cooperation was the Venus bounce, when Dwingelo transmitted a signal to Venus, and it was then subsequently received by both Astropila and the Dwingelo dish. So it's sort of a brother of our telescope, I would say. Almost same age, almost same story, almost same size of the volunteers that operate it, and always nice to talk to the Cameras people. And actually, we'll have a visitor from Cameras hopefully this Wednesday. So looking forward for the further cooperation.
Okay, thank you, Thomas.
Well, thanks for joining us, and please invite any of your members to join us too, and that'd be great.
Rich?
Yes.
I just wanted to ask about the Green Bank Conference next summer. Is that still projected to be in operation? Because I hear all sorts of horrible things in Washington, D.C. about defunding the Green Bank antenna. I just wonder where it's going to go. And I think this actually is going to happen this way, that people should exert maximum pressure on the government to come to its senses, because right now they're acting like a bunch of crazy 2-year-olds.
Well, Marcus, who's running it, has gotten we're scheduled a date. And so far, they're acting like they can schedule us. So I know there's a lot of back and forth and funding and all that kind of stuff, but right now we're on the schedule, and we'll just see how that works.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Andrew.
Oh, right. Hello. just bear with a second. Just want to grab something a second. So I thought I'd, and there's a lot of people coming around, so I won't take up too much time, but just for the sake of Emma and anybody else who might be new here and not know a great deal. So I do a lot of the hydrogen line stuff. So I don't claim that anything I do is any better than anybody else, but just to show the sort of things you can do with something about 1 meter in size and often a lot smaller in your backyard. So this is my map of the Milky Way. and obviously my data is the coloured stuff, the stuff in the background, which is fainter, is just a professional map from Wikipedia that I've overlaid my data on, and it's using TED software there, and just to show that you can map out the Milky Way arms, which for me, I just think is incredibly exciting, because you look out with a telescope or something from your own backyard, and people tell you there's things like this. There's arms in our Milky Way, and you think, well, how the hell do they know that that actually exists? And the answer is it's radio astronomy that told people it exists. And here we are, direct evidence from my own backyard that it's possible to know that we have actually got arms in our Milky Way. And then here I wanted to show, so this is just basically my data. Well, the left-hand side isn't, that's just data from Wikipedia, which is just the planets in our solar system. As you can see, Mercury moves faster than Venus, which moves faster than Earth, which moves faster than Mars, all the way down to Neptune, Pluto, etc. out the back. Essentially, the further you are away from the center of our solar system, the slower and slower you move. But here's my data on the right-hand side, from 4 kiloparsecs to 8 kiloparsecs. And of course, astronomers use kiloparsecs because nobody else knows what it means. Just like doctors, more important to have loads of words that nobody else can understand. That makes it look like you are really clever. But anyway, it's about, I don't know, 3.5 light years or something, whatever it is, a kiloparsec. So a parsec, and a kiloparsec is 1,000 of those. So this is showing that my data is not showing that drop off the further you go out, but rather it's more of a flat line. And that's supposed to be the smoking gun for the presence of dark matter, that it doesn't drop off in the way that it should do. So I thought that would just be there to sort of perhaps excite Emma and get her thinking, gosh, I can perhaps do something similar, or even if it's not that, something else equally exciting. Now, on a more sort of say down to earth, that's probably the down to earth thing. Well, it's hardly down to earth, is it, in a group like this by definition? But we have started a new GNU radio group. The great thing about all of us in the GNU radio group is none of us are any very good at GNU radio. And we could do with some people like Marcus to come and actually join us and tell us how to actually do GNU radio. But nevertheless, this is my attempt to produce a GNU radio flowchart that will collect hydrogen data using the RSP Duo, which is one of SDR Play's software-defined radios. Now, I've got to just give a little bit of credit to where this flowchart comes from, because it would be ludicrous to suggest that I wrote it all. It actually started off, Marcus wrote the original one, and then a guy called Pierre Tellier modified it, and I think he produced something called, well, I forget the actual name of it, but he produced his own sort of radiometer using that. And then Ted had a go at changing it to actually, so it actually created easy radio astronomy data. And the little bit that I've done is attempt to make it so it works with the RTL Duo devices. And just so down here, we've got these particular blocks. So the way GNU radio works, if you've never seen it before, is it's like Lego for writing software for radios. Basically, you get these blocks, you shove them on a screen, and it does things, and you link them together with lines, and then press a button, and it turns it into a piece of software. And here, these ones that say SDR Play, RSP Duo, these are the blocks that allow you to connect with that particular software-defined radio. And some of them are grayed out because these are various modes which are meant to allow me to do interferometry, if I ever get that working. At the moment, I've just got the one on the right-hand side, which just has a single tuner. It's 1.42 G, which means 1.42 gigahertz, i.e. the hydrogen line. And then you get all these things up here, which are supposed to then turn that into a signal. And lo and behold, if I press this button here, we've got a signal. So far, so good. It looks great, except to me, that does not look at all like a hydrogen line signal. And I know for a fact that this particular radio telescope, which is my solar cooker radio telescope, actually does collect hydrogen very successfully using easy radio astronomy and an RTL SDR blog software-defined radio. So either this is the GNU radio companion file that's not working, or alternatively, there's a problem with the RSP duo in terms of successfully detecting hydrogen. Ted, you know, you were saying earlier on that you've got a successful file picking up hydrogen and then saving it as easy radio astronomy data using GNU radio. Is there any way I could ask or beg you to send a copy of that to me so I could have a go at trying that one out and modifying it to see if that works with the SDR Blaze device?
Now let's be precise here. I'm trying one. I'm just turning around to see if it's doing any data. So don't get quite excited yet, and you don't want to be suffering this version yet. It'll come.
Well, that's me. Anyway, any comments? More than welcome. If I've talked a lot of rubbish, sorry about that.
All right. Any questions for Andrew? All right. Okay. Anybody else have any prepared presentations before I start going down the list?
Yeah, can you hear me, Rich?
Yeah, Paul, go ahead.
I do have a little something, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Well, what I was doing is I've been working on a 12 gigahertz dish to try to be able to do some methanol maser detection like Eduard and Dimitri have done. And I don't have positive results, I'm more negative in the sense that I built this whole thing. I was going to explain what I've been trying to do and actually ask for help. Eduard has been trying to help me. And I've been doing things like trying to see if I can detect the sun. And I actually was also trying to detect Saturn. I kind of wanted to be able to do the moon as well, but the moon's just not in view right now. And what I'm doing is I am, I was able to pick up the sun, and I get a signal above baseline. Now, of course, it's not a peak. You get a flat level because it's a broad band. And the way I built this thing was from a DirecTV satellite antenna. It's about 1 meter. And I have a device, it's called a Bullseye LNB, which I believe that Eduard said that he also has used that. And I have a camera attached to it that allows me to use optical techniques for centering on the object. So, I'm pretty sure that I'm on there. And also I can actually detect satellites, and I was going to show, that I was able to do that. But I don't think I'm getting enough signal to noise to be able to detect even Saturn, which according to my, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. What I'm doing is, as I said, I have been talking to you, Eduard, and you've been helping me out a lot, but I still, in spite of everything, the only thing I can do is to pick up, I get about 3 dB above cold sky with detecting with this antenna system, but I don't get anything more than that. And like I had a number of questions. Like again, I wish I could show this because one of the things that I noticed, I have a specific question about is when I point at Saturn and then I move 10 degrees, away in different directions, the baseline does change, but it's not like obviously stronger for when I'm pointing at Saturn. I was wondering if, so my question one is there a good explanation for why I would see this? Is there, other things that are going on at 12 gigahertz that would cause that? So let me pose that question.
Your screen just came up.
It did. Wow.
Yeah, we see 12 gigahertz antenna build.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So let me switch here. Can you see now? I went to, All right, you see this here, these pieces?
Adapter components?
Yeah, so this is just to show how I built the thing. On the left is the assembly. What I did is the DirecTV has a nice kind of a modular way of plugging in the L and B on the end there. And I built this adapter that's compatible with theirs, and I tried to match the angles and all this stuff. And so you can see that that mounts on there. And then I also built this Vixen mount thing, which I use, routinely to connect to my Celestron computer controlled mount. And I can use optical techniques for centering. And then, of course, getting that aligned was an interesting challenge. So this is showing the setup that I had. This is actually, it was in my house where I got, I know you guys might be familiar with these little signal analyzers. And I got a nice little one. There's a signal analyzer and a signal source. So it puts out a 12 gigahertz signal. And you can see on the left side there, you can see I have pictures of that's actually IF average and together with the photo, the image from my SharpCap Pro. And so you can see I'm pointing at it. And if I move off axis, just as you expect, the peak goes down and all that stuff. So this is, just to show you how I was trying to get this thing set up. And then I took it outside and I started, trying to point at satellites. And I have some apparatus it's normally for finding satellites. And I had this, at the bottom there, this interesting little thing. It's a GT Media thing, that relatively inexpensive thing. Wasn't actually very good for detecting the satellites for whatever reason, but it was good at providing the DC power source. And also you need a 22 kilohertz signal to get the bullseye to go into the higher local oscillator mode, which is required for me to operate at 12 gigahertz. So this is kind of just showing the setup for that. And on the upper right-hand side, some of them are a little bit blurry, but that's what satellite signals look like. That's why you can kind of tell them from regular noise, because these like block-like things, they're the different bands the satellite works on. So I wasn't interested in picking up free TV. I just wanted to make sure that this dish was working. This is what I was really going after. These are some optical pictures which were successful. I took of Saturn and this is a hydrogen alpha picture of the sun. So I was trying to point at these things with this 12 gigahertz system and see if I could pick them up. This is like just kind of showing what the baseline looks like. This is with IF average. And one of the things that leads me to believe I've got some kind of noise, don't know what it is yet, trying to figure it out, that's fixed. So it should be jumping around if it was random noise, but it's not. So it's probably some kind of electronic noise of some sort. I've tried doing things like moving my computer around and things like that. I haven't been able to identify what it is. It's small, but it's big enough to be a problem for detecting, down in the realm of like 1 dB or so. All right, so this is the closest thing I have to interesting data here. This is the cold sky and the sun, and looking at cold sky relative to the sun, I got roughly about 3 dB, which is not terrific. And doing, with the help of my unreliable friend ChatGPT, I've kind of got estimates that I'm somewhere well over 100 K for the antenna temperature. So it's that's probably not too unusual for a small 1 meter type antenna like this, but at least I was able to detect the sun. So here's some other calibrations I did with it. The blue line at the top is the sun, which is, you can see it's about 3 dB-ish relative to cold sky. I pointed it at the grass, and I pointed it at some cement, and I have on the right-hand side, you can see I have this little thermal gun. That's how I can tell what the temperature was. That's the yellow and the red lines, and they're lower than the sun, and it's kind of all relatively sensible. The green line was actually a satellite. I think it's a Galaxy 19, and you can see it's like, part of the trace is down at cold sky, and part of it is higher. Again, you get this kind of blocky thing when you're looking at satellite signals. They have these fairly wide block bands. So this is just a small piece of it. previous picture I showed you, which was using the spectrum analyzer, had a much wider bandwidth, and you could see the pattern better. So let's see, getting near the end here. This is, okay, this was my attempt at getting Saturn. The two traces at the bottom, the yellow and the blue, was when I was pointing at Saturn as best I could tell based on my camera, telescope, and antenna calibration. And then I moved it off axis and I got the green line and the red line, maybe about 10 degrees or so off. And you can see it moves, and the yellow and the blue were two different measures. I went back and forth. So when I pointed back in the same spot, I did get the same signal strength. The big orange line, again, is a satellite. When I was moving the antenna around, I ran into another satellite, and you can see that the satellite signal is very big. So that's basically it. And so really what I'm trying to do is to figure out whether, what I'm doing wrong, why I haven't been able to get the results that Dimitri and that Eduard has got. One of the things I'm using a new electric SDR, and I actually ordered an Air Spy, which is literally on a slow boat from China coming to me. So I haven't got it yet, but I'm wondering if maybe the Air Spy is better. I don't know. So I'm kind of looking for feedback. Anybody's got any suggestions as to how I can get this to work better? So I'll turn it back to you, Rich.
All right. Any questions for Paul?
Yeah, maybe I have a comment. First of all, your observation when you are pointing at Saturn, you move it in a different direction, you get a change in the background. And what you need to consider is that whenever you move your dish, your thermal background may change. It's slightly looking at a different part of your surrounding, and that can have an impact. So that's also something that I'm experiencing quite a lot. So as soon as you move the antenna, you get a different thermal background. This might
is that terrestrial or is that extraterrestrial?
It's terrestrial. I mean, you have a fairly wide beam, which means that you're looking also at thermal background from your surrounding. And the moment you move your dish, that might change a bit.
So
the other comment that I have, I'm not aware that Saturn is actually a bright radiator at that frequency. I simply don't know, but to the best of my knowledge, the brightest source from our planets in that frequency range is Jupiter, and that's also very weak. So really, the strongest one should be the sun and the moon.
Okay, that's good. So the moon is a good choice, and it happened to be out of range for me during the time I was doing the experiments. I'm going to get back to that soon. And Jupiter was also out of range for me right now, so I didn't try that either. But thank you for the feedback. And and so my understanding that this dish is about 1 or 2 degrees. So does that have any effect on your comment?
Yeah, I mean 1 or 2 degrees. That's of course, the size of the dish. That's what you would expect. And I mean, it's that if you look at the moon, for example, it's 0.5 degree. So it covers quite a bit of your beam. So you should get a reasonable signal. So obviously you do see the signal from the sun. You should see the signal from the moon as well, somewhat weaker. I would not expect that you see anything from Saturn, and I would expect that you don't see much from Jupiter either. We do see the Jupiter, but that's with a 10-meter dish. So with a 1 meter or 1.50 meter dish, that may be a bit challenging.
Okay, thanks a lot for that feedback.
All right. Any other questions? Well, great work. This is how everybody gets more advanced. Let's see. Ted Klein.
Here I am. I don't have any great news, though. I keep working away with GNU Radio, trying to get an Ezra output, and spinning around in my chair, looking at the latest results. I keep working on it. No promises yet.
Do you want to introduce your guest, Emma?
Emma, I haven't even met except here on Zoom. She's a high school student near us, and somehow she got a hold of us talking about wanting to build a radio telescope in her backyard. Maybe Emma should go next.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Emma. Tell us what your plans are and where you're at.
Okay, well, I'm kind of a noob. This has been very interesting because all of you are a lot more experienced than I am. But I'm 15. I am in sophomore year. I go to Ridgeview Classical School between LeMay and Stewart in Fort Collins. So I'm like, the closest I am is to Ted, and that's about it. I'm very new. I picked up an interest in radio astronomy when like a friend started talking about it. She started building her own telescope, and I saw it also on like a web page, and I was like, well, that looks interesting. So then I went to CSU and I grabbed like 3 books, and I started reading some of them, and then I realized that I was not that experienced and I didn't know what a lot of it meant. So then I had to end up doing some research. And then I started using ChatGPT, funnily enough, to find people who could be mentors and help me build this telescope, because I was interested in like the hydrogen line, the Milky Way, all of that kind of stuff. So I haven't built anything yet, and I haven't met with Mr. Klein yet, but I hope to in near future. But as of right now, I think I'm still researching. But it's very interesting, and I look forward to working with you all.
Let's see. If you can send me your email, we'll make you a student member.
Okay, I'll
Right, so
type
you'll
it
get
on the chat.
and you'll get all of the Zoom notices and the journal and everything like that.
Awesome. That sounds super great.
That
Thank
is
you
good.
so much.
Should be eligible for a grant there, I think. Wouldn't that be true, Rich?
Yep, we can do that. We can get her on listserv so she can put her ideas on. Yeah, well, she's got to get a project to figure out before she gets a grant, but we can get her going.
Sounds like she just described her project, then the grant committee would definitely be interested in helping.
Well, let's see. Charles, you're as the member of the grant committee, take her email and follow up, could you? And maybe see if you guys want to get her a couple, a super sit or a scope in the box or something.
Scope in a box sounds like the right thing.
Yeah, she's advanced enough for that. She found us. She's advanced enough for a scope in the box.
Sorry, Rich. This is Carl Spielman. I found that the scope in the box grant process was very straightforward, and within a week, just about all the components were sent to the school. Sent to my school, so that was a really streamlined process. If that helps.
Yeah, I think the only problem with scope in the box at the moment is the new elec Sawbird LNA is they're having trouble getting it, and I think that's the only issue now with that project. But yeah, the grant committee and Charles is a member of that, and Tom is obviously the chair, has been since last century. But yeah, he's runs that perfectly. Okay. Thanks, Emma. And you're now, I think it's this Friday or next Friday, and you'll get an email. Hopefully, is we have Drake's Lounge Australia. So now I got all the Australians as a group chat together. So you thought Andrew's English was strange. You'll listen to the Australians. So I didn't mean strange in a bad way there, Andrew, but hey. Let's see. Okay, thanks, Emma.
Thank you so
let's
much.
see. Helen.
Might want to mention who Drake was. He's an interesting figure.
Yeah, I'll tell the story on Drake. Let's keep going before we run out of time. And let's go to Helen.
Oh, hi, I'm here. Just fascinated with everything. And that's all I have for this week.
Okay, thanks.
Uh-huh.
Jay.
Well, hello to everybody. I don't have anything to add other than just appreciation to the people who have shared their research projects. It's always inspiring. Good luck to everybody and see you next time.
Thanks, Jay. Our interim treasurer, Dennis.
Everybody, been doing a lot of admin work this week for the organization, and some of you have probably received a lot of email or some email from me if you've registered. And I would like to remind everyone that our registration has been sent out, notices. Registrations are currently good through the end of the year. So we will take your name, unfortunately, off the email list if we don't receive your renewals. Another thing I've done, which is very interesting, I've had a chance to go to the bank to take care of some of the business things for the organization. And you would be amazed, no, maybe you're not if you've done this for a while. You get out in public and you say, I'm with Society of Amateur Radio Astronomers, and their eyes glaze over, they roll back in their head, and they say, what is that? And then you have to have a canned speech ready to give them. Otherwise, you'll end up spending a lot of time. So be ready anytime you mention that you do radio astronomy to people that you meet. Another thing I'd like to mention, I noticed Dmitri talked about the 20-meter telescope. I would like to encourage everyone to check into the 20-meter scope. It is a remote operated telescope at Green Bank Observatory. And you will learn an awful lot about different aspects of astronomy, like guiding and finding out what objects are where and when and whatnot. I did it for quite a while, enjoyed it very much, learned a lot. So check out that. I've been working with Steve, the administrator, and we're updating all of the documents relating to that on the website. So do yourself a favor. It's free to use if you are a SARA member. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dennis. Let's see. Dan, is it Shireko? And I think you're in Japan.
No, I'm not. Not today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hell, I'm from Mesa, Arizona.
Close.
And, pardon me?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, anyhow, I'm very new as well. I belong to the Tucson Astronomy radio astronomy group. We started out with about 27 members, and now we've dwindled down to about 4, including myself. So I'm learning the technology and acquiring some of the parts to build this hydrogen line radio telescope. And I have to be real cognizant of all the interfaces because I don't want to let the smoke out if I hook up something wrong. So that's where I'm at right now.
Did you say you're from Arizona?
Correct.
What city? Town?
Mesa.
Oh, okay. I'm up in Camp Verde.
Oh, okay. Practically neighbors.
Right. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Let's see. Rick from Deep Space Exploration Society.
Yes, hello. I have been I've been busy on a different project, but I did take some time to communicate with with Ted and provide him with a week's worth of data for this past week, recorded at Haswell. And he's analyzed it, and we're still trying to decide whether it's looking good. It's looking like something useful, but I don't think it's as good as it should be. And so we continue to go down a variety of paths to try to sort it out before we begin a multi-year project to do drift scans from plus to minus 20 degrees azimuth. I don't want to start that until we have the very best hardware and software results we can get on the one in the one position that the antenna is pointed right now. Every now and then, like last week, we had to take it down because we had to put a different feed in for the Earth Moon Earth contests. But as soon as the minute the contests were over, they climbed up on the tower and put the drift scan feed back in. So that was good. I didn't waste any time there. We're also planning another mission. We're looking into supporting NASA's manned space mission to the moon and back this spring, and I'm writing the proposal to NASA to become one of the supported telescopes for that mission. And I've also modified our DSES.science website to have a new category of drop-downs called projects, so that people who are interested in what our telescope is being used for can look at the 10 or 12 projects. I was told at breakfast yesterday that there's another project that will be added to that list soon. That's already ongoing, but I haven't documented it yet. So between the website, the manned space mission, the drift scan project, I'm pretty busy, but that's only a tiny fraction of what DSES is doing. So if anyone is interested, look at the website. I'm trying to update it on a much more regular basis now.
All right. And your drift scan, you've been using the GNU radio, and I just thought that you and Andrew would sync up because you're trying to do GNU radio for the same thing.
That might be a wise move. Right now, I'm only talking with Ted. I probably should be talking with Andrew also, because I'm using the AirSpy Duo right now with a different driver than he's using. I think he said he wrote his own driver. And I could try his driver. That's easy. I can do that without going to the site. And so, yeah, that would be a good idea. I'm also giving serious consideration to swapping the AirSpy Duo out with an Ennis Research B210. We have 3 of them now. And I need the B210 in that configuration anyway for the manned space mission. So I might want to swap it out now. I'm not sure. I just want to compare the results that I'm getting by swapping it out. And maybe I can come up with a plan to remote control leave the AirSpy Duo in and put the Ennis Research box in at the same time. That way I can play with them remotely without having to go down and swap hardware all the time. I think I can probably do that.
All right, sounds like fun. All right. Any other questions for Rick?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Oh, good.
Rick, what was the website address for the SDS you were talking about?
For DSES?
What was it? SES?
It's
Sugar
DSCS.
Echo?
No, Deep Space Exploration Society.
Okay.
DSES dot science.
Okay.
So it's https / or / DSES dot science.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a dot science, you know. But I guess there is.
I'll have to tell you the story about how we got that. We used to be .org, and then there was a big. We finally had to shift to .science. I was way back, dark ages when I was involved. Oh, anyway, thanks, Rick. Great work.
Thanks.
And Andrew just commented on the chat for you. You guys hook up and Andrew, I'd say get Rick involved in your GNU Radio working group. Okay, Wendy.
I'm not really doing anything. I'm trying to buy some a new Mac so that I can do software on it. Since I'm not really in a good location to do hardware. And so wish me luck. That's about it.
Okay, thanks. Dennis.
Okay. Hey, thanks. And I wanted to mention to Rick, I really love your equipment room. That's gorgeous.
No. What you're seeing are 3 identical spectrum analyzers that are all broken that I'm trying to repair. And they're taking up all the room that I need for development of new products. It's a mess.
Take 3 parts units and make one good one.
That's what we're trying to do.
Okay, well, Rich, thanks for asking me to say something. I don't have anything to offer, and I would echo some of the others who have said how interesting it is to listen to all these marvelous intellects expound on what they're finding out. I love it. Thank you. Let you go on.
Yeah, this is a real fun group. Who would have thought a bunch of amateur radio astronomers would be a great group? Okay. Conrad.
Hi. I'm pretty new to this. A little more than a month ago, I bought one of the Super SIDs. You could probably see the antenna behind me, and put it together and spent about a couple of weeks just testing it, getting data, and right now it works great. I'm picking up a lot of signals. I've been an optical astronomer for over 50 years, and in that area, I've done serious stellar spectroscopy for the last 13 years. And during the day, I do hydrogen alpha time-lapse photography of the sun. And when I was on YouTube, just looking at different things for hydrogen alpha, I came across your website and people talking all about sudden ionic disturbances. And from that, I said, gee, it would really be neat if I can merge up my time-lapse solar photography with these ionic disturbances. And, I can confirm that my results from the SuperSID are good by going to some of the government websites, especially the GOES satellite, to see how they correlate up pretty well. And so that I'm doing astronomy 24 hours a day. I don't know if I have any more time to do all this, but I am having fun. And so I'm enjoying my retirement. I think the next thing I want to look into is the 21 centimeter line. I still want to do more reading. I want to learn more about that itty bitty telescope that I see listed out there, see what sort of results people are getting. And people in my astronomy club were really fascinated with my SuperSID when I set it up one Saturday for them at a little meeting that we had. So I'll let you know how things go, but this has been a lot of fun so far.
Well, great. And just let you know, 21 centimeter, that'd be the scope in the box.
Right.
Itty bitty telescope we don't sell anymore. Tom is not making those anymore. So that's really almost a 12 gigahertz scope like you heard about with the
right.
Yeah, I've got some worry, Conrad, and that is that you've started doing radio astronomy and immediately got success. You're missing the key point of doing amateur radio astronomy, which is that you go on for months and months of total frustration and don't succeed anywhere at all. Then you come and join this group and beg for help, and we hopefully help you to get started. So coming in and just doing it perfectly first time, you'll be leading us before long.
Well, 50 years of optical astronomy, I've had my share of failures. So, I'm looking into it carefully so I don't make stupid mistakes. But the SuperSID, I did make some mistakes in the beginning. I hooked up the sound card wrong. So I had no results. Couldn't figure it out till I realized I had it connected incorrectly. And since then, the results are very good. I start off my day checking yesterday's results, and then I can go to the GOES satellite. There's another website called GONG, the Global Oscillating Network Group, and they have some sites around the world where they study the sun and they get hydrogen alpha time-lapse photography, and you can see bright flashes on the sun at the same time that the SuperSID is picking up a signal. So I want to stick with this, and it's been fun. That's all I can say. It's fun. Oh, a good question there. I'm located in Hope Valley, Rhode Island. I have my own observatory here, and I haven't met anybody else in the state doing radio astronomers. Hopefully, maybe I can get somebody interested.
Great. Okay, and recommend you get on listserv.
Okay.
And if you want, somebody want to put listserv link down in the chat. And so if you got any questions about radio astronomy at all, it's sort of like a 24-hour help desk. And
okay.
Put any question on there. There's somebody in hundreds of people that'll come and answer questions.
Okay, great.
All right. Thanks. Hey, great work. John Blazing.
Well, hi everybody. That's really interesting to hear of all these various projects going on and to see results coming out of them. I'm really enjoying looking at all of that. I'm with the Cincinnati Astronomical Society. We are in the town of Cleves, Ohio, which is at the far southwest corner of the state. The society's been around since 1911, and we're one of the oldest and largest amateur astronomy groups in the country. But we formed a radio astronomy group about 3 years ago, and our it was originally to revive an old 10-meter, or I'm sorry, a 10-foot satellite dish that had been languishing out in our observing field for about 20 years or so, and we home built a feed horn for it, and we've been getting good results, bringing in the 21 centimeter from the galactic cold hydrogen clouds, and measured galactic rotation, which is all fascinating stuff. It kind of astounded me that we're seeing Doppler shift that hydrogen line on the spectroscope. That kind of blew me away. My particular interest. Well, let me. The other stuff we have going on. We have a SID set up, and that is uploading data continuously to Stanford. We have a couple of guys who are into a meteor trail radio bounce, which is pretty neat. My particular interest is in Radio Jove, receiving the emissions from Jupiter around 20 megahertz or so, and we put up an antenna, a two dipole array in our backyard. And we're running that into an SDR Uno, running the Radio Sky spectrograph software. As it turns out, we had a good success story there too. We got everything working independently, and the day we first had it all put together, we hit the go button. We got a beautiful Type 3 solar flare, like within minutes. So that was a great. All I knew was to hit the take a picture button. We didn't even have our header information put in yet, but we did get a picture of it. But anyway, my particular interest there is the electrochemistry between Io and Jupiter, and how all of that interacts with Jupiter's magnetosphere and produces these radio emissions at regular intervals, predictable intervals. That all fascinates me personally. So I'm a brand new member. I guess my membership officially begins in January, right? I just sent a check in this month. So I'm glad to be here. Hope to make frequent appearances on the meetings here. I'm sure I've missed something, but we'll hit it all eventually, right? Everybody's doing great work, and I hope to share some of ours too. Once I have something pulled together, I can present.
Great. Yeah, feel free to put a presentation together for any of your results. And Conrad, he mentioned Radio Jove. That is also a great solar monitor. And
yes, that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
by the way, hello, Johnny Cox. I remember you from the Radio Jove meetings. Good to see you.
If you guys can show, if you guys have one of the Radio Jove results, I'd like to see Conrad to see that.
Oh, I'm sure I could pull something up if you want to give me a couple of minutes. I'll go find it.
Yeah, let me keep going, and when you got something, let me know.
Yeah.
And let's see. Okay. Well, let me keep going. Carl Spillman.
Hi. Thanks again. Great group today. Lots of really great information. I just wanted to give a shout out to Tom Hagen from, I think it's the McMath Observatory. I had called him inquiring about how to build one of the basic horn antennas for the hydrogen line observing, and he directed me over to Sarah and got me involved in all this work with getting a grant and all of that for my science students. I just want to thank him for kind of getting me into this whole great activity. And my question is, since there is that back order on that one component for the scope in the box, can anyone recommend an alternative if that backlog just takes months and months and months? That's really would be helpful if someone could maybe make a recommendation for that. Otherwise, thanks again, and I'll just turn it back to you, Rich. Thanks.
Yeah, right now, and I don't know, I'll speak for me. I use a 30 dB LNA amplifier without a filter right now. Wish I had the filter, but that would do it. And you have to separately power that. So you might just check that out as an alternative to that New Elect Sawbird filter or LNA that's on back order. And Amazon says it's not even available. They don't even know when it's going to become available. So that's what we're sort of waiting on. Anybody else have any recommendations for an LNA?
Yeah, I got a very specific recommendation, Rich. So it looks like the increased interest in hydrogen line observing, which could well be significantly due to the activities of this group, plus the BAA's hydrogen line videos, which have got quite a lot of interest, have actually taken out the world's stock. So New Elec are bringing more out, but this is going to take them a couple of months, which I presume is their back ordering time to get them from wherever they get them manufactured. But I put into the chat, there is a main alternative, which is a GPIO Labs low noise filter. And I've actually put the title of it in bold there, which is exactly how it actually appears on the website. And I think that's running at around about the £50 mark. It's compared to the Sawbird. So I get a bit of a sort of theory for those people who perhaps don't understand this stuff very much. So the problem, and Wolfgang and co, please correct me if I get this wrong. I know I do get these things wrong very readily. So we've got a couple of things going on here. Firstly, we have a filter which takes out those frequencies that we don't want and leaves just a small range around our preferred frequency. But the other problem you've got is that 1420 megahertz is the lower end of the microwave band. And so consequently, it actually suffers from a lot of attenuation on coax cable, i.e. sort of loses power very rapidly. And especially if you haven't got a very expensive cable, you risk having far less of the power that comes in through your antenna actually reaching down to your receiver. So what the New Elec does is it has an amplifier, which is you put that device right up next door to the aerial, the antenna, I don't know whether you're our side or your side of the Atlantic, whatever you call it. And it helps to amplify the signal so that makes up for the loss that comes down the cable. The other problem is that the filter also takes power out of the signal. So the way the New Elec work, it has an amplifier, then it has the filter, and then it has another amplifier, so they're called a cascaded amplifier. The GPIO, which is probably the closest, supposed to be very good, but unfortunately doesn't have the amplifiers. So you may want to stick another amplifier in line with it. Something like the New Elec Lana would probably do the trick.
Great. Thanks so much for the recommendation.
Excellent.
Comment, if I can get it for a second.
Go ahead.
I've got it. Okay, I have a Sawbird around that is not in use at this time. And if we happen to have a high school student apply for a grant on a scope in the box, I'm willing to give up my Sawbird, if you're listening, Alan. If everything else is together for a scope in the box and that's it, I will give it up, probably ship it to you, Rich, or whatever, let me know. Other thing, when my turn comes around, I've got some comments on Zener diodes and noise.
Okay. Any more questions for Carl? Okay. Well, why don't you go ahead, Bruce?
Okay. Between craziness and my family, we've had a family wedding killing me for the last 2 weeks. Not much time to get in the lab. And the next week I've got some medical things going on, but in between I've been doing a little bit of looking at the noise level coming out of Zener diodes. And I'm finding the more I look, the more interesting it gets. To say the least, I'd gotten 8.2 volt Zener diodes, which I was kind of selected for a reason there. But anyway, BZT 52 series, which is a standard series, and they're like 10 or 15 cents each in small quantity. And looking at the noise from them, you get an interesting stuff that you'd think you run up the current, the noise would go up. Below about 20 megahertz, you run up the current and the noise goes down. And somewhere around 100 microamps to 200 microamps, the noise maximizes. And you run it up to like 5 milliamps through the diode, and the noise at low frequencies drops. The noise at high frequencies, however, does the opposite. It goes up with increasing current. So there's probably some way to balance that. Don't have any results to publish yet because I've been doing all my measurements with a 1980s vintage 141T spectrum analyzer, which works great, but it doesn't have a save button that saves it to thumb drive or anything, to say the least. So that's been kind of my holdup, but I will gradually work on getting stuff together to publish there. And yeah, I think that's probably about it on Zener's. Wonderfully obscure. Oh, one thing I do need to make a comment on. The reason for this interest in Zener noise is that an awful lot of amateur radio astronomy data really isn't calibrated. And radio astronomy data, basically, most of it looks like noise. And in order to do a comparison, you need a signal of exactly known level that is noise so that you can do accurate comparison. So that's why the interest in that. And I'm trying to get something that's amateur community can afford to put together, and we can get some way to calibrate it, and then we'll have a calibration source for our radio telescope. So that's the direction I'm working on. And enough of that. I've chattered long enough, and like I said, my sawbird is up for grabs there if needed there. Goodbye to everybody.
Well, thanks, Bruce. And Wolfgang, Bruce put together a collage of his visit up to Stockert there. So I thought that was really good. That'll be in the journal.
I have a quick comment on the Sawbird. I just found it in one of the forums, and somebody mentioned just a few days ago that Nolek has at least some of the what he calls the bare bone variant. That was actually the previous product, which didn't have a housing. It is a pure board, has the same amplifiers and the same filters. It has one slight disadvantage. It has a Dicker switch at front, which decreases or increases the noise figure a bit. What they say in the forum that it is not available through their website, but can be ordered via email. So I just am giving what they say in the forum. That's a message from the 7th of October. So maybe if somebody is really desperate for one of these, that could be an option. Send a mail to Norlek and ask for that bare version.
Okay, great, thank you. Tom Jacobs, how you doing?
Well, I'm here, and you can see that some things have changed. I did want to ask Emma a question. I wanted to ask her if she had any background in optical astronomy before the interest in radio astronomy, and apparently you missed it when I raised my hand, but I'll ask that question.
Yeah.
And if she's still on, maybe she can pop in and answer or put it in the chat or something like that. Other than that, I'm surviving, and maybe I'm doing a little better than I have been, but you can see some of what's happened to me. And I guess the answer is I'm saving money on haircuts and shampoos, but I'm spending a lot of money on other stuff. So that's some attempt at humor. And, like I say, don't have to spend money on haircuts anymore. Enjoying the group. As several people have noticed, it's a very interesting group, very fun group, and I will turn it back to you there. You all have a good time, and I'll go back to lurker mode.
Thanks, Tom. All right. Johnny Cox.
Yep, I was getting my mute button off. I have Radio Jove. The gentleman a few minutes ago mentioned it, and I have a TFD square array in the backyard and RSP1A receivers. If anybody's interested, we got groups.io for Radio Jove, and every day, and several others do it, every day we look at our data that we've obtained and kind of share it and see what each other's doing. If anybody's interested in kind of joining that idea, we'll be happy to have them, but
You're quite active.
yeah. So, yeah, John, that's right. It was you. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries.
I should remember John since we're both Johns, but memory is not very good these days.
Yeah, I don't make many appearances. You know, I read an awful lot, but I don't post very often. But it's all great stuff.
But if anybody's interested, that we'd be more than happy to have you with us.
You can post it in the chat. The address.
Yes, I can.
I have limited space here at home, and I spoke to one Radio Jove member about my difficulties in using the antenna. You know, because it's like it's really big. It's really bigger than I expected. And he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just hang it out the window." And I thought, well, okay, but maybe it'd be better if I could get on the listserv of the group.
Okay. I wouldn't, from a personal point of view, I don't think I would say hanging it out the window would work very well.
Stands a chance, but it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My antenna's on wooden posts in the backyard. And it's 25-foot square array. And it works pretty doggone good. I've been pretty pleased with it. I've had a good time with it. But I'll let me see if I can get in the chat the Radio Jove website.
And by the way, Rich, I've got a couple of pictures pulled up. I could share those when we get a chance.
I have trees, and I'm sure those trees would not do the antenna any good.
Well, I don't. This is just gibberish, but the neighborhood that I'm in doesn't allow external antennas, quote unquote. But I sort of don't tell anybody, but it's kind of hidden back here, and I've sort of tucked it. Not too bad. There's some trees around it, but I don't think they have too much of an effect. At least not that I can tell. I'm pretty happy with what I see. So you can kind of tuck them away if you've got a little bit of space. The hardest part with this antenna was that all 4 posts are on different levels. The ground is sloped massively, but I managed to level it out, and it works pretty good. And it doesn't look bad, but nobody can see it, and nobody knows it's there except my immediate neighbors, and they don't care.
Yeah, I was able to pick up Jupiter with 20 megahertz just using my ham radio, wire, and it's strung in the trees. So I don't think the trees really affect the 20 megahertz signal at all. So I think you just string it across your trees. In fact, mine's sloped. I got a V on my antenna, and it worked fine. So,
hey, Rich. Yes, I have an inverted V for 20 meters. Any chance I'd be able to pick up anything with that?
That's not 20 megahertz, but
correct. Yes.
You need 20 megahertz around that frequency, and then you should be able to pick it up with your ham radio.
So, and the tuner won't help. Tuner doesn't help with that. I actually have to have the right.
If you can get 20 megahertz, you're good. Then you just hook up the output of your sound into the software, and that's really the trick if you don't have a standard system.
Okay, I will look into it. Thanks.
All right, John, you said you had some pictures.
I do. Yeah. Let me see if I can get these to share. I don't know if this is going to. I'll be able to switch from one to the next, or I'll have to share them each in turn. This is our, so is this coming through?
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is our antenna. It's two 20 megahertz antenna dipoles, and they're a half wavelength long and about a half wavelength apart, 10 feet off the ground, and we've got a gentle slope to the that would be the northeast. So we're kind of the camera is off to the southwest. The northwest. Or the camera's at the northwest of the array. It's looking southeast. So we've got a good exposure to the south, which is of course where the ecliptic is, and we've got a delay cable on the feed line to that south antenna to sort of steer our beam down there to the south. Okay, so let me see if I'm going to be able to do this. Okay, no, I don't want to do that. Well, it's not the one. Okay, I'm gonna have to unshare and then share another.
By the way, the software you guys are using is still Radio Jupiter Pro.
Radio Jupiter Pro is it's a prediction routine. It will it'll display when Jupiter Io emissions are most likely. The spectrograph software we use it's developed by the same guy. Jim Sky is his name. That's Radio Sky. I think it's Jupiter spectrograph. Radio Sky spectrograph is the name of it, and both of those are available from Radio Sky software. But so the spectrograph we see here was produced in that Radio Sky spectrograph software, and this is some Jupiter emissions. So that's this was all on February 5th of this year, right? And you can see that herringbone pattern in there, which is caused by changes in intensity of the flux tube going through the magnetic field. So this is a probability chart showing the probabilities of getting emissions as a function of Jupiter's longitude that's facing Earth along the horizontal axis, and then Io's position in its orbit along the vertical axis. So when Io and Jupiter are in just the right positions, we are most likely to get emissions, radio emissions, beamed towards Earth. So this was an IOC emission here we were picking up because of the cursor there for that date, February 4th, is right there in the middle of that IOC region. So these are all various time zoom windows of that same emission. That's typical of what an IOC emission will look like. And you can go to that Radio Sky or that Radio Jupiter Pro software and see when those times are going to be. It'll plot out tables of likely dates and times. And it's all quite regular because it's governed by Jupiter's rotation and Io's rotation around Jupiter. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so this was our first light. This was a Type 3, right? A Type 3 solar flare that we received just minutes after we had turned the thing on for the first time. So that was a really lucky catch.
Can you point at that with your cursor?
Yeah. Do you see why it should be taking up the whole screen?
Oh no, we don't. We just see the blue. Still looks like the Jupiter emissions.
Okay,
slide.
let me change that. Yes, right. Let me go there.
That's different. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is our Type 3 solar flare, and this is all around 20 megahertz. I guess that is showing over there. The frequency. The frequency scale is over here on the vertical scale over on the right. with 20 megahertz in the center, 4 megahertz either side, and then the bottom scale is time in UTC.
All right. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
This is good stuff. And
Yeah.
by the way, the YouTube channel, our Sarah YouTube channel, and I hope everybody knows where that's at. We do have a full Jupiter section from all the presentations for Radio Jove.
Yeah.
There is a playlist for Radio Jove.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested in that, and also for solar, I think we have a separate playlist for solar with, if you include Radio Jove, it picks up the solar too. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Let's see. Let's see. Dennis, did I get you? I did. Never mind. Let's see. Bob.
I don't have a lot to report. I've been watching some of the videos on the Green Bank Community Forum, and I posted a link in the chat about that. And in there, they do talk about how the telescope was just finished being repainted and new wheels put on it. And they are soliciting the papers and things from people that want to use the telescope. So I'm thinking that optimism is pretty high that that thing is going to keep operating. I hope it is. But I'd encourage you to go look at some of those community webinars because they're very informative. Anyway, that's all I have.
Hey, Bob, since we got, oh, go ahead.
I second that. Those are fantastic seminars. They're short, 30 minutes every other week on Wednesdays. And boy, I'm telling you, the information you can gather from those seminars is incredible. It's really, they're just fabulous. So I agree. I encourage anybody to, and they're recorded on the website there that Bob and I both listed. And so if you go to there, you can watch some of the previous ones and sign up for the new ones that are every other Wednesday. Really fantastic seminar. So I sort of double the recommendation from that.
Can you guys put the link on the chat?
Yes.
Yeah, it's there on the chat. Yeah.
And Bob, since you're we've got a lot of new people on, can you give a little aspect of the muon stuff you've been doing, or in general?
Yes, I'm in North Texas too. I didn't say that. It's not a country, but close. And anyway, I listen, or I have a little muon detector that I've been working on that is for picking up high energy particles that are coming from space. Let me grab it right here. Hold it up. But I've 3D printed this thing, and I've been working on the software to control it and orient it. There's some people that will argue that I won't see any impact from direction, but I hope I will. But it has a plastic scintillator in here, which is something that when a muon hits the plastic, it creates a flash of light, and a detector's in it to count the muons. And they come in at a pretty good clip. So that's a project that you can get involved in. The British astronomy group has got a kit, I understand, too, that you can purchase, or you can find stuff about it on the internet and build your own, which is what I've done. I've laid out some PC boards that eventually I'll make available on GitHub when I get that working. But as a part of it, it has these little inexpensive motors that are all they're $5 to $8 to control the orientation of the device, both on the bottom and the top, with my 3D printed arrangement. And I'm trying to use some encoders to detect that orientation that are designed and built for cars. And hopefully, if that all works out, you could even change this out and put some other type of little antenna with it, or expand it a little bit in terms of weight and use it for other purposes potentially. And I usually do multi-project designs. Let me grab that too. I'm a retired engineer, and I guess I just can't quit, but I do these PC boards where I do multiple multiple different projects. And so on some of these boards, I've got some amplifiers that would serve the purpose of replacing the LNAs that you can't buy today. If you wanted to build your own LNA, and real low noise power supplies too, because noise is a big potential issue for, you want to get that noise level down as much as possible to detect weak signals. So have a lot of different projects going on, just bogged down with other things lately.
All right. Okay, thanks, Bob. Mark Winterflood.
Hi, sorry guys. Yeah, I'm still battling with my RFI noise problem. Because I'm try to make measurements at home. By the way, I live in the UK near Manchester. I did try and build the umbrella antenna that Alex Pettit suggested, and it does work. I've got a location close to me, about half a mile away, which is very well, a little bit rural. It's an allotment, a big garden, and the problem with running my measurements in that location, I don't have any power supplies, so my laptop computer for recording measurements using Ezra, the easy call. I've tried to, well, I actually purchased another computer with a hot swap battery system, and I got that about 3 weeks ago, and I'm going to try that out in this rural area, because I think at home I'm just surrounded by far too much noise, radio noise. That's all I've really got to say at the moment. Sorry, I've not made much progress. So,
Oh, that's
yeah.
great. Any questions for Mark?
I've got a slide I could show you of my umbrella antenna.
Oh, please do.
There you go. I don't know, did I show this last time? I showed it to Andrew. Did you guys see this slide? Can you see it?
Looks good. That's okay. There's a lot of new people.
Well, sorry, it's a bit busy, this slide. So yeah, bottom left, this is the umbrella antenna I made according to Alex Pettit's recommendation. So it's a cake tin with a I think it's 23 millimeters from the bottom of the surface of the cake tin, this loop antenna. I can't remember the diameter, but it must be tuned for this hydrogen signal. And I tried running it at home, but as you can see where I am, I'm surrounded by objects that emit radio noise. So I tried it in the allotment. On the right-hand picture is all the allotment, and the left-hand picture is at home. And I don't know, can you see that hump there? It did detect it, but I was unable to make extensive measurements with easy cold because, like I said, I didn't have any power supply in that location, so I could just run my computer for about 2 hours. And the Noelec mesh antenna, I still intend to try and use that in this open urban area. But like I said, I've just got this recently acquired a hot swap computer, so I can run it for about maybe 20 hours just swap the batteries whilst the computer's running. Actually, I must admit, I've been so disappointed the last few months. I was even considering just moving to something like supersids. You can do that kind of observation in a noisy area. Is that right? Does anyone?
Well, I think,
Can anyone tell me?
but
I would say so. The SID is way, way low down in frequency. I mean, there's going to be a lot of noise down there anyway, but that's down around 25 kilohertz, right? A wavelength of something like 15 kilometers, something on that order.
Mm-hmm.
And it works pretty good from what I've been doing.
I'd like to suggest that your feed that you made with the little cake tin. What if you just cover that whole front of that feed with aluminum foil, and then look at your noise level to see how strong it is, so that what you're trying to do is determine, are you receiving noise from an RF source, or is it noise that's coming from your power supply or your computer, so that you can separate the sources of the noise. I know that there was some discussion about doing things like that earlier, but then you could take, this cake tin, if it comes off of the umbrella easily, you could take it in your back garden there, just aim it around in different directions slowly, looking at your noise level, and see which direction this noise is coming from.
Yeah.
You should have some sense of the direction, I would think. And once you know where the noise is coming from, maybe you can determine what is causing it. You could have something as simple as an insulator on a power pole that's cracked or broken, that's generating RF noise, that you could report to the local authorities and get it repaired.
I think I showed this once. Made this oh, is it working now? Oh, sorry, it's not working. I made a measurement. Oh, damn.
I think you
Okay,
might
I'm
need
gonna
to stop sharing and then reshare if you want to show a different screen.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
let me get one more, and then we'll have. I'm going to turn off the recording because we're out of time. Charles, did
Okay.
you have anything? And then stay on though, but we'll go sort of an after party afterwards.
All right.
But it won't be recorded. Charles, do you have anything last before we sign off? You're the last one.
No, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody. And Drake's Lounge Australia is the next event, and I'll send out a notice. And anybody wants to stay online for sort of the after party, it won't be recorded. You guys can chat. I'll just leave the line open. You guys can chat to your heart's content for at least an hour. All right. Thanks, everybody. Great session. Bye.
Bye.